Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. It's me standing with waving my arm in the air, waiting for Pete to come through.
Why are you looking over there? Just listen to my voice. Listen to my voice.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't say
how are you,
I'm
Robin?
looking in the wrong place. I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm not too bad. You'll be pleased to know, Pete, the stream's looking much better than the Skype call. I'm going to close that down.
Is it?
We don't look too bad.
Oh, that's good then. Well,
I'm a
better
bit
news.
short.
Hello, everybody out there.
So I think the camera's
Maybe
probably
you need
put
to
a bit
just...
high. Just change that. Yeah. How are we all?
I have no idea how people do this on... always something seems to go wrong. My webcam had decided to just stop working again, so I was under the desk frantically sorting out wires. It all works, and then it's just decided it's going to stop working, which is pissing me right off. It's probably the fact I'm trying to have two setups all using the same stuff, but one's a Mac and one's a PC, and I'm trying to get it to switch between the two with a button press. And yeah, anyway,
Right.
no one cares about all that shit.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
Stuff and things and.
So welcome back, Pete. After you left
Thank
me in
you
the
very
lurch
much.
last week, your terrible family problems. Like, it's ridiculous how you could just let something as trivial as your family get in the way of our lovely live chats. But thank you very much for being here this evening, because I've got even less to say this week than I had last week.
Hopefully, everything's working. VJ says that the Robin's video is lagging a bit better than nothing. Unfortunately, there's absolutely nothing I can do about that. I looked it up, I did Googling it, and it all turns it's something to do with the fact that because we're using Skype to communicate, and there's just something doesn't work. Just doesn't like it. And OBS are like, don't know what you want us to do about it, we're free.
I have a wardrobe full of jumpers. I have a new one every week. I don't think I do. I just misremember this. I haven't worn this one for a while because this is my slightly warmer weather, colder weather jumper. You see, so I've upgraded because it is now colder.
But it's about 3 degrees outside today, wasn't it?
But actually, somebody's pointed out before, I think it was Ed, that most of them are blue.
Blue. Well, when you've got a colour that works, go with it. Basically, is what I say.
Yeah, well, exactly. I've got the odd green one and the occasional sort of burgundy one, but yeah. Anyway, that's not really about Direchasm, is it?
Not so much. And tonight is all about Direchasm. So I will say in advance apologies to anyone if our stream gets laggy and jerky, or if we get any kind of disconnection issues like the time we did before. I don't know why it's doing what it's doing. I'm assuming it's because of whatever issue I was trying to sort the bloody webcam out. I'm just going to take a hammer to the lot of it, I think, for next week. But hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll be fine. So we're here to talk about Direchasm.
Direchasm. Yeah. I don't think we're ever going to get over the name. Maybe it'll. Maybe we'll get used to it. I abbreviated it to Pete the other in a message to Pete the other day. And I called it DC, and he thought I was talking about Batman, which just made things even more confusing.
Well, we're doing something with Batman. What's this? Oh my god, this sounds interesting. It could be more confusing if we ever do like the DC Batman game or something like that. You're like, oh, we're gonna do DC tomorrow. Yeah. Turn up the next day. Where's the Batman stuff?
Yeah. Rosa's going on about how he's never worn a jumper again. I told you, I said, Rosa, you're only 19. Come back to me when you're 47. Tell me whether you need to wear a jumper.
you suddenly hit an age where you start doing all those things you said, I don't do those things. Those are old man things, like like wearing slippers or indoor shoes or various other stuff like that.
Absolutely. Having the car heating on. I remember going in my father-in-law's car when I was getting a lift back from the station with Joe when we were at university. And the car was like a sauna. It was like unbelievably hot. It was like, my God, I'm going to die. And actually now that's how I have my car too. He was about my age at the time, so possibly even younger. So it just, these things happen to you as you get older. Your blood gets thinner.
As Anthony says, one day you're not old, and the next day you have a favourite supermarket. That's just how it is. You will get to that point in your life, and suddenly it will change. And it's not like people make up like the dad trope, like it's a funny thing. It's just true. It's all true, all of it. 100%.
The weird thing is, I still think of myself as being a fairly new parent. But actually, I have a 15-year-old, which means one of them is
Yeah.
technically nearly done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Has
Yeah,
been
almost
alive
on the
over.
verge of getting kicked out.
Yeah, he's been alive for roughly a third of my life.
It's
Which
scary
is
to think about like that, isn't it?
it's terrifying. Yeah, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I don't think any parents have a clue what they're fucking doing. It's just that they,
You just have
like
to
we, they don't let it on. Nobody actually ever turns around to their parent and says, I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing. You think I know what I'm doing? I don't know.
You're never done, Robin. But yes, I know exactly. Exactly. You're never done. It never finishes.
Yeah, there's that.
Wolfman's got a 20-year-old still wings it.
Although after a certain point, you're much more likely to turn around to him and say, stop phoning me up. This is your shit to sort out.
Has it dropped? Has the thing dropped? I've gone over to another. Oh, bloody hell! I've gone over to
Robin's gone to another feed. I don't know why. If people do get disconnected, apologies. I don't know what's wrong with it all. I just despair, and I hate it all with a passion. My internet connection is fine. I've done a speed test on it.
I love you lot.
I don't know. Yes. I envy, truly do envy the people who just have a machine set up in one place and that's it, nothing else. And they just go along and they switch on and everything works. I truly envy those people.
Dave Henderson's oldest is 21. He's 39 and a grandparent. Wow.
I'm a way off of being a grandparent, a long ways off of being a grandparent.
You hope.
Yeah, fucking hope so. Yeah, better bloody be. That's all I can say.
My old still fail to mention girls ever to us. So I think we're all right for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, my oldest is 12, so we're still in the definitely not the parent territory at the minute, I hope. But then I think back to what I was like when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and I think, don't like that. I don't think he's like that, so.
I was lovely. I was a lovely 13-year-old.
Were you a delight? Were you a delight?
I think so. I think I'm still a delight. I've never really been anything other than delightful. Anyway,
we digress. To ask her. It looks like we might have got stuck a bit. So apologies.
Well, my wife never admits when she's wrong, so she's never going to say that she made a mistake, is she? So I'm safe.
True. That's true. That is very true.
To leave me, she'd have to admit she was wrong. She's a double. she's caught in a catch-22 of her own making.
I see what you've done there. Hopefully the stream is still working for people and it's all go. Like I say, I've got no idea what the internet's playing up with today, so we're just gonna have to go along.
I do sound incredibly polite all the time. Yes, I am. Even when I argue, I'm terribly sorry, dear. Would you mind not saying that? It's really rather annoying.
It's one of those that, a large chunk of it is the Britishness as well, isn't it? Like just everything has to be prefixed with sorry. I remember being in the way before.
So he must be used to this politeness. But yes, you don't really get anywhere in life by being rude to people, really. I don't think. Oh, well, some people do, I suppose. But I know he's probably having a bad day. He's probably having a bad day. But I don't know if anybody saw that altercation on the Warhammer Underworlds Facebook thread. Some guy in France getting very upset that somebody cheated in his game. I mean, just really, there's just no need. Well, firstly, it's a game anyway, so if the person was cheated, you've got to feel sorry for them. But secondly, coming in and mouthing off everybody who ever said anything about that disagree with him slightly, it's just not the way to go. Tell that to Trump. Yeah, Justin, I know, you're right. I know, but yeah, that's the thing. I remember actually, I think we might have talked about this before. I actually was trying to work out what on earth to do with my life when I've been telling my boys to be nice to people. And you won't finish last if you're polite and nice and kind and think of others. And then Trump became president of the USA. You just think, what do I tell him now?
Yeah. Boris Johnson's prime minister. He turns out you can be a twat and it's not going to really matter that much. You can pretty much get anywhere. But then we knew that with people like Steve Jobs and stuff like that. You can be an arsehole and you can still be incredibly famous and rich. So, but the difference being is if you're not an arsehole, you might not be particularly famous or rich, but you're not going to be an arsehole. So there is that.
Hitler. Anyway, I think we've gone rather off topic. When Hitler is mentioned in chat, it's probably time to it's probably time to move on. So what are we here for?
I did.
Direchasm.
I did. Direchasm. We're here for
My
Direchasm.
image is a bit out of sync with the sound. Am I listening
I'm
to
afraid
80s
I can't.
music wearing hip hop? No, anyway.
I'm afraid I can't do anything about the sync on the video and the audio. That is entirely down to the gremlins within Skype and OBS. I am completely unable to do anything about that. All my Googling has said, yeah, you're fucked. So, sorry about that one. Okay. Some days it's not as bad as others.
This is bizarre.
Andrew Moe says, I'm probably glad that he didn't send 10 questions. I am at the minute, because frankly, I'm just trying to hold it together right now.
Did you do questions?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen those. Did you just send them to Pete? That's very rude.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's all right, Ed. That's my mistake. I was about to do one.
Ed is saying he's getting ads. I don't think we have a choice anymore, Ed. I think whether we monetize things or not.
I got an ad too. It's very annoying.
I think YouTube put ads on videos whether we monetize them or not now. It's just a question of whether we actually get any advertising revenue for it or not.
Okay.
Because YouTube are great like that.
That's annoying. I was doing a Joe Wicks workout this week, or last week actually it was. And I don't know why. Normally there might be one advert occasionally, but there was about 10 adverts in it. The whole workout took about an hour in the end. There's nothing worse than being in the middle of 40 seconds of mountain climbers, and then they suddenly cut into an advert for a Google Home.
you end up doing 60 seconds of mountain climbing and you fucking die. I think Wolfman Gadget got it right. It's a way to force people to go premium, basically. You get premium, don't get ads, and fuck the little man, because
Yeah, well, we're not doing that.
Annoying, I'm afraid. I do apologise. Maybe we should go over to Twitch. Twitch don't do adverts, do they?
No, do they not? Okay. Well, maybe that's what we need to think about.
Yeah, possibly. Anybody else know about Twitch? Do they do ads? I don't think they do.
Oh.
I think they've increased the frequency. Anyway, let's get on topic. Direchasm.
Twitch is even worse, apparently. So Valentin says, okay.
Justin has asked a question, and he's asked it twice. He's been very, very, very patient with us with all the shit we've been talking. He says,
I haven't seen that either. I'm obviously question blind tonight.
He asked, there's a lot of shit going on. So he's like a tiny voice in a maelstrom of crap that's floating around. He said, is the price confirmed at £50? I don't think we have any confirmation or denial of that. But I
haven't seen anything.
Probably just go. No, I haven't either. I presume you can just go to a non-GW retailer and get it for probably a 10 or less anyway.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
So why wouldn't you, frankly?
Confirmed retail is. Yeah, it's quite irritating.
Valentin says, if you've got kids, get YouTube Premium. Why would you say that, Valentin? Is there something better about it if you've got kids?
Less adverts, I suppose. They're not subjected to the adverts then either.
But then the adverts are pretty banal for the most part, aren't they? I don't know.
Apparently in Poland it's the same as Beastgrave, the price, I assume, and it's confirmed.
And No Beef says that he who shall not be named has said it would be £50, so I guess it's probably going to be about £50.
Yeah, I remember how much Beastgrave was so long ago.
Well, we rarely pay for our things, do we, Robin? Well, we actually do these days, but...
we do. We buy 2 coffees.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's true.
So shush.
Yeah, okay.
It feels like such a long time, and it's funny because there's been less games for me, probably just about, maybe not, but certainly less tournaments going obviously this year. But it seems like such a long time since Beastgrave came out, and it just feels like so excited for Direchasm. I suppose it is longer, isn't it? I suppose it's an extra couple of months. Yeah. Which made me think of a question actually. How long do we think this season will run for? Because
there is a small clue of that within the roadmap.
Is there?
Yeah. So if I quickly switch on the screen share, hopefully people can see that. There we are, and this is the roadmap that GW released.
Right. Okay. So okay. So that's 2.
So you've got to think. It looks like a. Sorry, go on.
Go on, you go.
No, I was just going to say, it looks like they're doing one a month, and that they finish releasing Warbands in June.
Yeah. So you think, well, that's only 6 though, isn't it?
There are only
So
6 warbands.
yeah. So you've got to think there's going to be 2 more.
What
No,
are you on about?
8. Aren't there normally 8 warbands?
Yeah, 2 come in the starter box.
Oh, is that not them? Oh, it's not them, is it? Sorry, I just assumed. I didn't
No.
even look at I didn't even look at the graphic. I just assumed the first 2 were the 2 from thinking. You're right. Okay, so 6 warbands. What? And then a summer, and then release the new one in September again.
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
they won't release it at Christmas, will they? But then that means the season's quite short for like
It
tournaments.
does, and I wonder whether they've. Yeah, I wonder whether they've decided they have one of 2 choices. They've either got to continue with the release dates they have now and have the new boxes coming out in December to keep that annual sort of 12-month cycle going, because that's what annual means, Pete. To keep that 12-month cycle going, or whether they've just got to say, you know what, the next season's just going to have to be a bit shorter, chop it off a bit.
I
and
think
get
they'll have
things
to.
back.
I think they'll either make it shorter, and the way they've done this release, I think it'll be shorter. Because the only alternative would make it longer. Because I don't think they would ever choose to release a new season in the 2 weeks before Christmas or whatever it is going to be. So I think they're going
I
to
don't think so either.
peel it back. No Beef does make a very good point that there's not going to be very many tournaments next year anyway. So I think that's a very good point.
I guess they know that they're at a stage at the minute where it doesn't. They're not going to get many Grand Clash tournament type stuff going on. So why bother worrying about how long the season is going to be?
Yeah. Disconnected again. Yeah. This is rubbish.
Oddly, I was just looking at my stream thinking that it's saying excellent connections. I've got no idea. YouTube hasn't got a fucking clue. That's all I can say. So did anyone say whilst we were just talking about that Valentin was agreeing as well, so there's no beef. Daniel Santos says, so are we getting 1 warband per month, but how are we going to play with social distancing? Do you think seasons should be longer to account for the time we can't go out and play? Well, that's 2 questions. The first one, are we getting 1 warband a month? It certainly looks like it from the release schedule, and we'll talk about the warbands in a minute. But your question of, do we think that seasons should be longer to account for the time we can't go out and play? I like the idea of that, but GW will never go for that, because that will effectively be reducing their income. I think if they can sell 6 warbands in 6 months or 6 warbands in 12 months, they'll pick 6 months every time.
I guess so. Although I don't think they're probably limited by how many they can design, so they won't want. Then they probably don't want a 6-month off. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, I think in general, but I don't think they would ever say, hey, people aren't getting lots of games in, let's make a season 18 months or 24 months or anything beyond the year. They would keep it a year every time, because they wouldn't bother delaying things effectively.
No, what I meant was they would, if they would do, they would. I think it's better for them to space it out more so that they can keep interest going. That's why but that's why you normally get the 6 in 12 months. But I think this time they'll accelerate it. I agree. So I think we're looking at September, October for a new box. I mean, maybe November. They could sort of end of October rather than the end of September, maybe, just so you've got a little bit longer to play. But
yeah,
I mean,
possibly.
Everybody who's committed is committed now, and they're probably going to keep going, aren't they? so it probably doesn't really matter when they come out.
And like Wolfman Gaz says, they have years of plans in the running that they'll want to stick to, so they're very unlikely to say, let's shift a load of these plans around just because people can't play tournaments. Because I think GW have kind of proved now that they probably don't give that much of a shit about tournaments beyond making money. I don't think they really care a great deal about the community, or else they would have done something to try and keep the community going during all of this, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I mean, they may surprise me, but they're not going to. I was thinking how good it would be. I mean, I've been playing. I've been playing this weekend. Geek Dad we have our Game of the Year thing at the end of the year, and we've basically played. I haven't been able to do all of them because most of them are based in the US, but we've been playing 10 board games that have all come out this year, all going to be nominated Game of the Year. and all of them have got some sort of official tabletop kind of demo type thing that we've been able to play, to review them or to play them. And it would be great if Games Workshop did something similar with this. They've got Direchasm coming out. Wouldn't it be great if they actually had an official tabletop simulator module or a Tabletopia module, so that people could play it wherever they are?
Yeah.
And certainly for reviewers, if there are any, to play it. It would be, but they haven't, and it's an interesting one. I suppose they don't care, but I don't think there's any harm. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I don't think there's any harm in allowing digital versions of your games. It makes them more accessible, especially the current times. It makes them more accessible for people who might think, oh, actually, yeah, I will pick that up when I can play a game.
Yeah, I agree. And whether I don't think they would care about the fact that it might tread on Underworld Online's toes, because it's a completely separate offering. Underworlds Online is all animated and looks dead sexy and has all that going for it, whereas this would just be a digital version of all the cards and stuff like that. And I think that
I mean, in the short term, they don't even need to offer much of the other stuff, so they could just offer. They wouldn't need to offer like everything they've ever done. They could just offer a limited selection of universals and all the new stuff, so you could mess around with some deck building and stuff, just so we can play it, see what the models are like, check them out, play. Yeah. Peter and I basically, whenever we get our copy, we can't play until probably, unless
maybe January
restrictions change, probably until January, which is a bit daft.
Yeah, it's just mental, really, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Shy of breaking the rules, which is not a great idea if you're going to record something and put it online. I'm sure that if you were just going to meet a mate and play a game around one of your houses or something like that, you might have a slightly clearer conscience about things, possibly. But it's real stupid if you're going to record it and stick it out there on the internet for everyone to see. And I feel because GW they haven't made any effort like that. I mean, we got the 2 downloads, which frankly were.
Wolfman says claim it's work related. We could claim it was work related to Boris Johnson, but not to our wives.
Yeah, and we know which one of those 2 holds the real power.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's and I feel because of that, I don't think GW will do anything that would put them out of pocket for the sake of the community, and I'm using air quotes. You can't see them at the minute, but for the sake of the community, I don't think GW would bother. They'll just keep doing what they're doing because they'll still make money.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to, but I don't know that they would lose money by doing it the other way. But anyway.
No, I don't think they would. I think they'd make more money, if anything, if they showed more interest in keeping the community side going, especially for, I mean, all GW games require a community, because obviously you need to have people to play against, but Underworld's even more so because it relies on that tournament aspect, and they've done nothing to try and encourage or support that.
They definitely
don't want to be seen to.
Sorry,
I was going to say, I know they don't want to be legally seen to endorse things like Vassal or TTS, because obviously once you open that, it's a very sticky door to shut again legally. If you let it happen once, you set a precedent. But for cam games, at least, like poor Valentin, he's on his 10th straight out of Shadespire, and not a peep from them for that, which I still think, and I've said it before, is bloody disgusting.
But they could have made an official TTS. They could have brought that on board and made it official, and done it that way. But anyway,
yeah,
they're never going to.
So there we go.
I don't think so. So it's a moot point, or moo.
Universe Doge, a moo point.
It's a cow elf. I see. It's a moo point, which brings us neatly back to cow elves.
Daniel Sands does say, though, we might have cards being removed because of rotation too fast, and he means take the same time, but since there are no tournaments, we kind of can't use the cards outside your bubble. And that is true, but because you're playing inside your bubble a lot more, you can play what other cards you like. See you later, Valentin. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Next Shadespire I can't speak. Straight out of Shadespire is the 19th of December, the next one. Do join in if you can. I think, Pete, will you chuck the link out? It's in the Discord, apparently. Will you chuck the link out somewhere for people to find?
Yeah, I will chuck it out. I will stick it in the comments section of this post afterwards. So it'll be in the description of the video, and I'll stick it in the chat in a moment as well for anybody who's watching along later on.
Stick it in the chat.
And yes, and like I say, I think it's bloody ridiculous that Valentin's on his 10th season now of that, or his 10th go. 10 months in a row he's been organising that, and not a peep from GW. Not a peep.
Join Direchasm on.
Somebody put a comment earlier about... I said something, and someone said, is that a popular opinion or an unpopular opinion? I can't remember what I said now to go back to it, but anyway. But yes, we're back. We're back talking about warbands. So we know that the first warband coming out is the ultra sexy Chaos Warriors warband, which frankly I love.
Yeah, somebody just asked that question. Do we like them? They are really good, aren't
they? They're some of my most. I think they're probably my most favourite warband, possibly ever in Underworlds.
Wow, that's saying something. I quite like the new Arabian Night style Slaanesh models, I have to say.
Yes, I do like the Slaanesh models.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense that the Chaos models coming out in January get me so hot under the collar, because the Lizardmen one coming out in February, I can't even get slightly turgid about.
Slightly turgid.
Turgid, yeah. Just this.
Okay.
There's not even a pulse there for those. They don't interest me at all.
They don't. I thought you're not a secret lizard man lover, so to speak.
I am definitely not a secret lizard man lover. I'm much more excited. I'm much more excited. Yeah, I can't even get a slight lob on Matt. You're right. I'm much more excited by what's coming in what looks like March. In fact, March, April, and May all excite me a lot more.
Yeah. So what are they then?
What do we think? What do we think March is? I think March is might actually be.
He's zooming in.
Might actually be some kind of vampirates.
Vampirates.
Vampirates. So pirates crossed with vampires.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant vampire rats. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, it could be looking at the symbol. It actually almost could be vampire rats or vampire bats.
I think that looks like a vampire bat sort of head thing.
It does. It does definitely. I reckon it's vampires.
I don't know why I think pirates. But the sword looks very sort of cutlassy.
Pirates. Is that going to be a new kind of faction in AOS, do you think? Probably not.
Vampire Pirates was on one of the Warhammer Total War expansions, I think.
Right, okay.
People have been going mad about it ever since back then.
Right.
But I think it'll be vampires of some kind.
Vampires. They'd be pretty strong, I think. They'd be presumably quite a small... I suppose they could have bats and things, couldn't they?
Yeah, I presume bats, maybe some kind of thrall, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't really. So long since I played Warhammer, but the vampires used to be pretty hard, pretty elite. Not very many. Low model count.
I'm assuming, low model count. Maybe 3 fighters or something like that, or maybe there'll be like a couple of harder fighters and then 2 or 3 weakling thrall or bats or something like that. Maybe.
Soul Blight, Matt says he's your lawman quite often. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, they've changed the name to Soul Blight, haven't they? So that they can, basically, so they can IP it. I think.
Okay.
There's been rumours of vampire pirates coming to AOS floating around for a while. I think they've been floating around for a year or two now. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with them.
Floating around in the air or on the sea.
To suck your blood. And then we go on to April, which is a very interesting one. There's had a lot of discussions going on about April.
Yeah, it looks a bit like a dwarf in the stuff.
Because Kaz Maktai has just said April looks most likely Savage Orcs, but I remember someone mentioning that the icon, when they were looking at the source of the HTML, evil
pointy teeth.
Great big pointy teeth.
Yeah, that's what.
There he is. You stupid bastard! He's got a vicious streak a mile wide.
The warband is just one rabbit.
But I reckon these are Spider Riders, because I'm sure someone mentioned that they looked at the source code in the web page, and there was something called something like Spider JPEG.
Okay.
So I reckon they're Spider Riders.
Spider
And there's been other stuff
JPEG.
talking about. Other people have been talking about spider riding goblins coming along or reappearing. So I reckon it's Spider Riders rather than Savage Orcs, because we've already had an Orc Warband last season.
Yeah. Green means orcs.
Well,
Apparently.
green means
That's it.
goblinoids, doesn't it?
Goblinoids,
I
yeah.
don't know, I think I'd put money on Spider Riders on this one. That's where my money's
Spider
sitting at.
Riders. Nothing in that symbol would suggest Spider Riders to me, but I'm more thinking it's Savage Orcs, but we'll see. Let's hope. I would rather have Spider Riders, although that said, Rippers bore me shitless, despite the fact that they came top in a poll of most loved warbands. Which just proved how out of touch of the game I am. But I just don't really like. I don't really like the Rippers that much. But yeah, Spider Riders would be cool.
This is the argument going on in my head. I'm reading the comments. No Beef says we've already had goblins riding stuff, and Universe Doge says too soon for more orcs. And I can see both of those points. We've had orcs recently, but we have had goblins riding stuff recently as well. However, if given a choice,
skeleton dwarfs. If you look at that, you can definitely see a dwarf face in there. That would totally blow everything out of the water, wouldn't it? If it was green and skeleton
dwarves.
Undead dwarfs.
Some kind of diseased dwarves thing going on.
Nurgle dwarfs. Because they're green too.
Nurgle dwarves.
Some kind of green now, isn't it? Dwarves are orange.
Yeah, and Derek says the fangs are spider fangs. Well, I reckon they could be. Could be, maybe. But you never know. But then Peter Vams and Bosch says teeth look like orc teeth, so it's just you can't. It's hard.
I can only see a dwarf
really
now. Just looking at it, I can just see a dwarf. That's all I can see.
I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole, diggy hole. And Morph says the word on the street is that Spider Rider rules are getting rejigged as they are pure turd in AOS right now. The minis are so old. Wouldn't be surprised to see new Spider Rider minis. Yeah, true, possibly.
Pure turd. What is pure turd? Has anybody ever done? Anyway, sorry.
When you take a lot of turd and you have to concentrate it down into
24 carat turd.
24 carat turd.
I'm getting sidetracked by turd. Yeah, so
and John's pointed out that April will be the only destruction faction coming out this season. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, that is true. Now, if they want to keep Thingy as relevant, the other game I've already forgotten the name of the not Grand Clash. What do they call it? Grand Alliance. Probably they might keep the destruction going.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, and what is the final symbol? That's like I can't quite see it on your picture.
We've got this weird purple one. Now a lot of people have already said that one.
Is that the Bone Reapers?
The Ossiarch Bone Reapers, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I mean, this top bit kind of feels familiar from the Ossiarch sort of stuff I've seen.
It's a gem logo in the middle, apparently. Amethyst gem logo in the middle, apparently. I was thinking it looked like a Samsara wheel.
That's true. Yeah, the Winds of Time. And I think because that might be two undead factions then, because you've got the Ossiarch Bone Reapers and possibly the vampires, two undead. Maybe that's with the bringing in of the Arena Mortis stuff, more warbands to take advantage of the resurrection stuff. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then the last one, these are the Wet Elves.
Looks like Trivial Pursuit. It does. Maybe you have to. Each one has a little piece of cheese. There's 6 of them, and each one has a piece of cheese. If you can get them together, you win the game.
And the last one is the Wet Elves. So we've got Cow Elves, and then we're getting Wet Elves. Fish Elves.
Okay. The Idoneth Deep Kid. I'd be quite interested to see that warband. I don't really know much about them. I kind of switched off of AOS, I have to say. At the point at which the Idoneth came out, I think I just, I'd be tempted to say Games Workshop would jump in the shark, but that wouldn't be, funny at all. But I don't know. It just I don't know. At that point, I just thought, oh, I'm never going to play this game. Yeah, but on like all of these things on a smaller scale, I think they could be really interesting.
Possibly.
So
I mean, that's the one good thing about Underworlds, isn't it? Is that you can take a warband that you wouldn't ever really consider an army for, even if you weren't completely off of AOS, you might still look at a warband and think like Fire Slayers. I looked at the armies when Fire Slayers came out, and I was like, you know what? I just don't want like a whole army of orange naked dwarves. I mean, Slayers, I always enjoyed the imagery of those back in fancy battle times, but you had a unit of them, and they were your triple hard psycho unit of Slayers that you would go and throw wherever the dragon was. But a whole army of them was like, that looks dull as shit to me. But
yeah,
one
more
warband of them,
more is definitely less in that case. I think.
yeah,
Well, that was
yeah,
kind of the beauty of the Slayers, was that there weren't very many of them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then suddenly
exactly.
you've got a whole friggin' army of them.
Yeah. Well,
And the other
I
thing
feel
that
like
annoyed me about the Slayers was the fact that their leaders would ride around on massive great monsters. Like, pretty sure they were all for chopping their heads off of fucking great monsters. So
exactly.
why are they riding around on them?
I feel a little bit like that about AOS in general. I do love some of the new sculpts, but because they can now do these amazing, huge models with plastic, but so now everything comes with its own kind of diorama, doesn't it? Just about every army now has a great big kind of platform,
Great big beastie thing.
Yeah, that moves around on a mountain. Or something, and I don't really like that. It doesn't interest me. But the warband, the sort of more personal warband scale, definitely does. So, I think I could see myself liking any and all of these models because I do tend to. There are some obviously I like less than others, but again, I think I'm very optimistic that Games Workshop will smash it out of the park on pretty much all of them.
Yeah, there's very few warbands that I look at and I just think I don't like anything about that. I think the last time they did a warband like that I looked at and I was just like, ugh, might have been Rippers. I was a bit about the models there, and before that it might have been Mollog. But I think nearly all the others I've really liked.
I like Monog as a warband, just not as a. Well, actually, even our last playing experience of Monog was really great. But the only one I really don't like, well, the only one I've said I don't really like Rippers. I'm not keen on Rippers. I don't like Magor's Fiend.
Well, yeah, but that's like, what's that, season 1?
I know, but I've just they leave me cold. Well, not actually cold. They leave me dead. But no, I just oh yeah. Rosa was about Condemners. I forgot the Condemners. Yeah, they're pretty dull. They're pretty dull, backed up with the other ones.
But then that's, for me, that's like all Stormcast.
Yeah, exactly.
All
When you've
Stormcast
already
make
got,
me go, eh.
but they're even more vanilla than the other Stormcast, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Unpopular opinion time already. I have to say, I think for the most part, the warband I am least looking forward to is probably either the Fish Elves or the Lizard Men. just don't really get Lizard Men.
I'm looking forward to the Lizard Men. I'm looking forward to the Lizard Men. So I'll be playing them then, and you'll be playing the Chaos ones. Hang on a
I'll be
minute.
playing Chaos.
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
Oh, but if I'm going to play the Chaos Warriors there, then I probably shouldn't be playing Slaanesh because then I'll be 2 Chaos units, so that means I'm stuck with the Cow Elves.
Okay.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
now it becomes.
who gets to play those? It'll be like Adrian Mole's parents arguing for
Exactly.
who doesn't get custody of him.
We will also, I meant to mention, we will also be announcing our winner of our November Patreon giveaway for a copy of Direchasm.
Yes.
Before the end of the show, so all of our Patreoners watching, and if they're not watching right now, then they will. We will obviously let them know. And if anybody's interested in joining it's every month we do a competition for our Patreon supporters. This month is a copy of Direchasm, and next month will probably be a voucher for
versatile
terrain to get, so they can go and design and buy your nameplates for your 2 starter set warbands. Or in fact any 2 warbands you like, really, at all. It'll be whatever you like.
Or your Necromunda warband, whatever. Gang, whatever.
Yeah, true.
whatever you want to do with it. A voucher for versatile terrain. So that's our Patreon competition, which anybody can join if they are Patreon. We'll come up with a competition which will probably be Darkchasm related, and anybody, well, whatever level can enter. And if they win, then they get the versatile terrain voucher next month. But there'll be one every month, various different things. So
yep.
Yeah.
Now John's done a good one, which he's just mentioned a good one, which is he likes the idea of 1 month to paint a warband before the next appears. I presume that's not a competition. I presume that's just the release schedule that they've announced, which is that they're doing one a month. Which I don't mind.
I much prefer that. I much prefer that schedule, I have to say, because I really liked it. Wasn't there last year? Wasn't there some sort of supply issues? And Rippers and Grimwatch maybe came out at different times. There were certainly two warbands that didn't come out together last season.
It was Grimwatch. Grimwatch came out. Rippers came later because somebody mentioned something about there was a supply issue.
Yeah, and I really like that because I like the ripples through the meta more. And I know I'm a bit old and long in the tooth now, but I struggle a little bit when you get however many cards you get in a new, was it 120 new ones or 60 new ones, whatever
with
it is.
Warbands, yeah.
With 2 warbands, it really shakes things up, and I don't like it. I preferred it when there was just one. It just changes things a little bit, and then another gun covenant just changes things a little bit more. Then the effect's obviously the same, but it gives you more chance to enjoy the sort of slightly shifting meta. So I prefer a monthly release. Pay more postage.
Yeah, I'm the same. I find when you have 2 warbands come out at the same time, like when Frostgorn and the Wormspat came out, one was considerably better than the other when they first were released. And the meta at that time, Frostgorn was much better than the Wormspat. And because of that, they kind of suffered a bit for ages. You know, they just weren't a very popular pick because they weren't very good. Obviously, Wormspat are doing quite well now, and I think they won.
I wonder if that's actually given rise to their ascendancy, in that everybody was spending a lot of time trying to make them playable, which was one of the really nice things about this year. Everybody's community working together to make them playable, and now have they won 2 tournaments? Didn't they win the recent Battle Clash, and they won the official Super Best Ever Players tournament?
Something like that. I know they won that one. I didn't know if they won the Vassal one.
I think because Jay won those, didn't he? Jay Clare. Pete nearly beat at the Grand Clash. And then there's been a couple of. There's been a guy I was interviewed by Justin, and I think he's posted on Steel City Underworlds. I think he was the Vassal Clash.
Vassal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking for a minute that Jay had played in the Vassal Clash, and I was thinking that's not going to go down well. He might get coming to work on Monday. Can I see you in the office, Jay? Yeah, sure thing, boss. What's up? Sorry?
But Nobi said Vassal Clash 5. But I think they got some nice. Did they get some nice cards in Arena Mortis? I mean, I'm not allowed to play them because they're Pete's, so I haven't really looked.
You're allowed to play whatever you want, Robin.
You say that, but if I touched your Nurgle, excuse the expression.
Don't touch my Nurgling.
It might drop off.
The problem is now we've got 3 seasons, 8 warbands each. And plus those other ones, there's 26 warbands now. It's just finding the time to play with them all.
Yeah, it's not. There's not going to be too many Rippers, but not Rippers. Steelheart versus Moloch clashes going on our table, is there? No, definitely not. And we're always open to suggestions, especially from our Patreon supporters. They do get dibs on calling the shots if they want to see certain games, and we're always up for playing specific deck builds as well. But it's just phenomenal the amount of options there are out there, and I touched on this a little bit in my rotation video that I did the other day, and I was saying that I think rotation for the game is a good thing, and I think the majority of people did agree with that as well.
because I can't imagine what it'd be like sitting there now trying to decide whether I want to take Restless Prize or Ready for Action. It'd be like or those kind of having to make those choices now with 1,500 cards or whatever it would be.
Yeah. Although I think also it's the earlier cards tend to be quite a lot stronger. So I think nobody buy the new ones because they've balanced the game as it's gone along. Yeah. Matt says still hard versus
really...
the next video. No.
It would be just not happening. No, it would be a bit galling if you just got into the game. It sounds like Universe Doge is new to the game, so it's a bit overwhelming. But don't worry, Universe Doge, we will help you wherever we can, and so will the community.
Yeah. And I'm going along with what Anthony says there, which is that just focus on the more modern ones. Pick up the other ones if you can, but focus on the modern ones, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
But I think it'd be quite galling if you picked up the game now and somebody you played against at the weekend played things like My Turn and Ready for Action. And you'd be like, which card set are those in? Like, oh no, you can't get them anymore.
Can't buy those.
Yeah. That should be really rubbish.
So it becomes a question of economics then, doesn't it? I mean, people sort of you got a few comments on that video saying it's typical Games Workshop, money grab, but actually no company would keep old stock online to keep a game balanced as it grew and grew. I mean, it just wouldn't happen like that. So I think rotation is a good thing. It's definitely improved the game. I mean they've learned from mistakes they've made. So they're getting rid of cards like Opening Gambit and what's the other ones they had to ban? Well, not ban, but restrict Combination Strike because they were a good idea, but in the end it turned out poorly designed cards, and now they've got better designed cards that make the game more interesting. And that's the advantage of rotation. They can see what works in anger. I know they do playtest their stuff. We joke about the playtest, and they do playtest it, but they can never ever put it through the paces that a fan base of I don't know how many fan base across the world the game has. But it's not massive, but it's also not insignificant. And those interactions, which ones don't work, and which ones not even they don't work. I think it's they work, but they just become ubiquitous, and that in itself is boring. So
that's why I think a lot of cart. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say there wasn't anything particularly broken about the Combination Strike card. I mean, obviously they have done a few broken cards, but it just was not very interesting.
Yeah, it just everyone took it because it was a great card to take because it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Someone's talked that there's a lot of talk about a Black Lotus. Is that a Magic the Gathering card or something like that?
I think it was super brilliant. I remember somebody talking to me about that. Well, how old is that card now? Is that there was some card when I was when I played Magic the Gathering very briefly about how old am I now? 47. So we're talking 25 years ago. So maybe it's not that card. I remember somebody telling me about some crazy combination. Black Lotus was in the alpha. Over 20 years old, yeah. So I reckon that was people were talking about that card.
That's mental.
94 to 96, yeah, that's when I played.
So what was so good about it? It was just an unbalanced card, I presume.
It made 3 mana for free. There you go.
I have literally no idea what that means, but I'm assuming it just means free resources.
Yeah, effectively, yeah.
None of those cards will ever be...
It's the most expensive card in Magic, where expensive cards are very common, yeah. It's 25 years old. John Grant saw one once in 1996.
Cool.
It's ironic. It wasn't. I know it was Blue Lotus. I say it wasn't tinted in the Blue Lotus. It was the Blue Lotus that's hard to get hold of, wasn't it? Anyway.
None of those cards will ever be as good as this one.
Is that Ready for Action? No, it's not. Oh, it is. Yeah, the best card ever.
I almost lost it down the back of the unit just then, so lucky I managed to fish that back out.
It gave you it's sleeved. It gave you the equivalent of 3 activations. Apparently.
Cool.
Last one. My screen is tiny because it was so jerky and Anthony's glasses, Robin. I've got it really small, so it was so jerky, so I can't really see. Was that a card sleeve? I just saw it. It's only we have sleeved our cards in the past.
That's the only card sleeve I ever kept. I bought back when we did a little bit of Champions, Warhammer Champions, whatever it's called, Age of Sigmar Champions, that other card game.
Oh yeah.
We sent everything to Rosa for. I bought one card offline off someone, and they sent me this completely insane sleeve, and it's like rigid plastic, and it's got like an actual frame around it and stuff. And I thought, I'm going to keep that card holder, and I put my Ready for Action in it.
So yeah, I've got a few like that, buying Pokemon cards for my kids.
Some people take it very seriously, much more than we do.
Gavin Scott's daughter suggested the other day she was going to get into Magic, and he said no. Yeah, I looked at Magic, Gavin. I reckon my son would love it, but I don't want to go there. And plus, if I suggest it, that'll kill it for him anyway. So,
did Gavin? Did you sort of turn around to go, how about some crack? Maybe have some crack instead. Have some crack and think about it. Just give that a try.
Underworlds. No, apparently they're called top loaders. I want to make a top loader joke, but the only song I can think of is "Dancing in the Moonlight," so it's not really going to work there.
Wasn't that by Onka's New Mocker or whatever it's called, or was that the album? That might have been the album.
I don't know.
Shitty fact: I saw them play that song live at Wembley Arena supporting Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay.
The most out of place support act I've ever seen supporting a band.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure how we got to where we're at now, but we've completely gone off of the rails.
Magic the Gathering Arena. Yes, I've heard. Yeah, Magic the Gathering Arena is good. There's obviously some lots of crossover because we always then get Magic the Gathering comments whenever we have conversations like this on our live chats. So
it's a card game, isn't it? And I guess GW have to try and pull in a lot of the MTG community when they created Underworlds.
I don't really know anybody in real life who played, if that makes sense. Not that you guys aren't in real life, but
you're all figments of my imagination.
I've never really had friends or people who've played. So it's interesting. So we played a few years ago, 25 years ago, but I've never really played it. Well, I didn't take it very seriously at the time. I just bought a load of shit and made crappy decks.
I think that just means we're not nerd enough.
Yeah, I think that probably is true. We are bots. I am not very wordy. Wordy. I am very nerdy. Or I'm not very nerdy. It's interesting. Flavours of nerd, isn't it? We talked about that before. Whereas, in compared with most of my friends and like the parents at school, I'm really, really nerdy. But compared with a lot of Magic the Gathering players and Underworlds players, I'm not very nerdy at all.
Practically Fonzie. You're practically the Fonz by comparison. I remember.
So is there any more Direchasm stuff that anybody wants to cover?
I guess we should talk about that.
But,
there was we saw the new cow Slaanesh fighter. He looked quite cool. Interestingly, he doesn't go up to like a double defense dice stat. He stays on one shield when he inspires, but he's got the 5 wounds and that ability where he can make the reaction where he can heal a wound or cause a wound to himself.
Oh yeah,
funky.
Yeah. Slake Slash, yeah, it's a good model.
Yeah, I do like the model as well.
My God, the dice look amazing. Well, that's my unpopular opinion.
It's time for our unpopular opinion, Robin.
I may have said this one before. Actually, it's just the dice. Whenever the dice come up, I just don't like the dice. The box comes with dice in. Don't need more dice. That's my unpopular opinion. You don't need more dice.
Yeah, but none of us need most of the stuff that they sell.
But I know. I have talked about that before. I've talked about that before. That it's all relative, isn't it? I mean, you're allowed to have you're allowed to. You can have a hobby, and that's fine. You play your hobby or whatever. But I get things like the dice and all these extra stuff that, well, not just Games Workshop, but all companies make because they know we're inveterate collectors. We can't help ourselves, so we'll buy them. And there's ultimately they're just going to end up in a big hole in the ground somewhere. It just frustrates me that is the case.
So
it's like
these the stuff we're buying.
It's like these giant Kickstarters, which is another discussion for another time. But when you get thousands and thousands of models that actually you never ever use, again, it's just using up the world's resources for just to sit on a shelf. So it's a bit pointless. Anyway,
I think it's not so bad with the dice if you actually use the dice. But I do remember seeing some pictures where someone had posted a thing where they were after a particular set of dice they hadn't bought or hadn't managed to get hold of, and they showed a picture of all of the other sets of dice that they'd bought, and they're all still in the packaging. See you, John. And I just thought, why would you bother buying all that and leave it in the packaging? I mean, dice are literally meant to be rolled. It's like their only design in life. Why?
Tim only got the Orc dice. And you know what, Tim? You've done your dues on the Orc, so that's fair enough.
You've been rolling those same dice for 3 seasons.
That's fair enough. Obviously people could do what on earth they like. I just feel that nobody needs a set of dice for every single warband. Because as we pointed out, you can't possibly play them all now anyway.
It's just so frigging many of them. Somebody put a comment further up I just missed. Peter Van den Bosch says, how do you guys see the Inspire condition? Ping damage like worm spat. I don't know. I think because it's just got to have 6 wounds on models. I don't know exactly how I'd play them right now. I think I'd just go up for trying to burn down individual models still, and then maybe try and make up that extra wound or 2 using Slake Slash and the other guy, the leader's ability to cause a wound to yourself just to get inspired, and then try and take them off again as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on what their faction cards have to manipulate wounds, because they're bound to have some, aren't they? And so it'd be interesting to see what they are. I think they could be tricky to inspire. I mean, I know it's any fighter. You've got a couple of fighters that are on 2 wounds. They're going to be quite hard to wound without killing them. Okay, so there's no calculated risk anymore, so you can't use that at the same time. So I'm intrigued. I think it's going to take a bit of practice to. Somebody says heresy, need all the dice. I think it's going to take a bit of practice to inspire them, I reckon, and work out the best way to balance that.
Somebody has pointed out having 1 set of dice is useful for being different from your opponents. Yeah, that kind of could be useful. But then you find that so many people do that. You can turn up with the white dice and everybody else's will be different.
Yeah, I'm the only person who uses the black and white dice at a tournament.
It's like when my son's online, he's playing Fortnite or something, he'll be saying that there's some, I can't remember what the phrase is for them, basic or I can't remember what the phrase is, but for people who have basically still got the base skin, they haven't bought any upgraded skins or kit or anything like that. I can't remember what the phrase they use is for them, but they'll say, they're just whatever this is, like I guess it's the equivalent of what we would have called a noob back in our day. The default, that's it, the default. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Universe Doge. They were like, there's some default. I hear him talking to his mates. Some default I just killed. Don't know what he's even playing at. You're like, you used to be a default, like not 6 months ago. So don't act like you're the cool kid, all right? And then if somebody else, and so it's a bit like that. Maybe they're just the same. They're figuring, I'll stick with the default skin because everybody else is paying loads of money to get all these ridiculous skins. I might as well look different by not changing at all.
Filthy casual pleb is Matt Collins' suggestion.
Filthy Casuals. That was going to be our name for a little while. We toyed with that idea for a little bit. The other funny thing is that when someone then beats my son, they're sweaty. They're a sweaty tryhard. And it kind of reminds me of, I can't remember which comedian it was, but one comedian once said something along the lines of, anybody who drives slower than me on the motorway is an idiot, and anyone who drives faster is a maniac. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much how we define it. I'm right, and everybody who does the alternatives is wrong in some way or another.
Yeah, I hear you, Pete.
And that is true. Everyone who drives slower than me is an idiot, and everyone who drives faster is a maniac. Especially if they drive faster.
Yeah, anyone who drives faster than you has got a death wish.
Universe Doge actually has some cool dice. He's got a dice with a sesame seed stuck in one of them. That's brilliant. That's the kind of dice you want.
Yeah. Well, does it roll? Depends where the sesame seed is. It might be an advantage.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. Now, one thing that was mentioned is the hobby hermit. He's helping a friend set up a new online store. That if you
oh
want
yes.
to order your copy of Direchasm this weekend, do go and check them out because they might be worth a punt. They're obviously getting started, so any visiting helps. And I've just stuck their website in the comments. It's Willen Games, WILLEN games.com. Do go and check them out.
I'm not going to lie. I just misread that.
Willy Games, Willy Games.
Yeah.
To be honest, now you said that, I'm kind of looking at it thinking, maybe they should have checked that a little more before creating their website. But go and check them out, willengames.com. And, you might find a good deal on there.
Yeah.
Hello, Alex, Nikki for UK. Welcome aboard this evening. We're talking shite right now. Pretty much where we're at with the evening.
Sorry. What are we doing here?
Welcome aboard to Nikki. We're talking shit.
Okay. Always talking.
Rosa says he drives at exactly the speed limit because he's black boxed. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Mostly people only ever drive the speed limit because they have to.
Yeah, that is true. I may have talked about this before. I have a speedo in kilometres an hour, so I'm forever doing maths when I'm driving along.
Oh my god, how fast are we going? Oh no, we're fine.
My wife does that. It's hilarious. It's like, how fast are you going? Darling, it's no, I'm not doing 80 and a 50. Why KPH? I have got a Japanese import, and they didn't change the speedo. So yeah.
What are you going to do, basically?
Yeah.
One thing I am quite interested.
It's kind of fun. I've used it to teach my children the 16 times table.
Well, if you've got to make something out of it, haven't you?
Yeah.
The one thing I am quite looking forward to, and we saw one of the cards for Kagra, or Zarsha rather, one of the Chaos Fighters, one of the Chaos Warriors, was when your leader was out, taken out of action, the friendly fighter, you play this card on them and they become the leader. They get +1 wound and +1 wizard level, which they're a level 2 wizard to start with, so that makes them a level 3 wizard. And there's been a lot of people talking about how they think that that this season could be very magic centric, given that we've got the cow elves at the start, and we've got lizard men as well. We've just seen because of that the Chaos Warband that I thought was just going to be like 4 fighters is going to have 2 casters in it as well, 2 level 2 casters I think, which could be very interesting. 2 level 2 casters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see just how much magic we get going in this season.
Yeah, we should see if there's any more magic spells. Obviously, a lot of cycling out. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if any more spells come into the game. Gavin says he thought we all speed down here in Scotland. There's never less of a hurry up in Scotland. I find the further north I go, the more or the less cutthroat the driving gets. So
Yeah.
people are generally
say that when we were in Nottingham, that was when
that's true. That is true.
Flipped off by that 6-year-old in the back of someone's sports car.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but generally speaking, you don't have to like force yourself out onto into traffic and things like you do in London. Well, I'm not like driving in London, but like you do even in Surrey. Although I have to say, one small silver lining of lockdown and such like is there's far less traffic on the roads, which makes life much easier when getting from A to B.
I had to go out the other day, and I had to get somewhere for like 5:30, and I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to leave at like 4:30 because even though it should only be half an hour away, I'm gonna have to contend with all the rush hour traffic. And then I ended up getting there like 25 minutes early.
There's no rush hour traffic.
Because the rush hour traffic was so much lower.
I have a few appointments at that sort of time, and normally it's a nightmare, but it's been lovely.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, there's definitely one benefit for it.
Yeah.
Somebody said that they don't like magic warbands. I don't know how many magic warbands we're going to have, but I mean, can't remember if I'm assuming that the cow elves are going to have a wizard. I
Yeah,
can't remember though if I've seen
that's
that
been said,
mentioned.
hasn't it? I think that's been mentioned that they've got a wizard. I'm sure it has.
You've then got, the Chaos Warband. So we know the Chaos Warband has 2 level 2 wizards in it, which is quite impressive. The Lizardmen has got to have some kind of caster in it. Maybe they'll have a level 3 caster as standard. Vampires, they usually have some kind of magic ability. The only ones that possibly won't will be the Spider Riders or whatever they are coming in April. Although if they're what are they called? If they're the Savage Orcs, they might have some kind of war tribe magic.
Yeah. What was it good for?
Absolutely nothing. And then you've got the Fish Elves coming in June. They're probably going to have some kind of magic with them. And then it's just the Ossiarch Bone Reapers. I'm not sure if they have a lot of magic going for them, but maybe. It's going to be an interesting season to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually light magic vampires are maybe a level to inspire to 2. Usually light magic vampires. There's a very wizardy looking lizard. Yeah, the lizard's going to be a wizard, isn't it? The one with the thermal detonator.
It's got to be, yeah, because that's some kind of skink priest. So that must have some kind of magic going on there.
Yeah. We need the spell.
There's
no use having magic users, as it were, if there's no spells. Because I mean, they might have their own magic attacks, but they're a bit less reliable, aren't they? Than non-magic attacks. And I'm sure we will, but if we don't get the spell back up, then on the cards, then it's going to be a bit rubbish. I suppose you've still got lost pages. But I don't know. I don't find the Lost Pages build particularly attractive.
Gavin Scott said that if there's good spells come out, Fecula could get even better, and that Jay used loads of spells with her in his win. So I haven't looked at the decks, and I didn't want to do that.
No, I haven't either. No.
I just like the idea that Worms have done well, frankly. That attracts me.
Just wish it was you.
Yeah. Not really, actually. No, not really. The amount of time you have to spend to...
Sorry, Ed says, surely I don't find the Lost Pages at all. That's amused me.
Very good. Very good. I shall chuckle. So Novi reckons there'll be faction-heavy spells next season. Maybe. To make sure Stormsides are not broken. Well, if we've got a Chaos Warband with 4 fighters in it with 2 level 2 casters, that could be enough to knock Averron off of the top spot in that situation. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know.
Who did you say had 2 wizards?
The January Chaos Warband, I think, has 2 wizards.
Okay. Right. You confused me there.
You've got the dude with the sort of the Zinch horns coming out of his head.
Okay.
But then the one who's got the mace and the shield, the one we saw in the picture, I think she's the one who turns into a level something else wizard. I don't know.
I'm getting my Chaos muddled up. I think I heard Chaos and was thinking you said Slanesh, and I was trying to work out how you knew that.
No, but I don't think. I don't think we've seen anything to suggest the Slanesh have a caster yet. But maybe the leader is. I might be getting it wrong, actually. I might be getting it completely wrong, thinking which character's which. Maybe they do only have one level 2 caster who can turn into a level 3 caster.
Right. Yeah.
Andrew says, I must be knackered. I was up at the crack of dawn. Yes, the puppy is getting me up early these days.
Yeah, well, you will make these stupid life decisions.
I mean, it's earlier for me, and I've been getting up in the night as well. But it's even earlier for the wife, who generally tends to be at least an hour or more behind me. So it's been quite funny to see her getting up almost the same time as me. Anonymous Jeff, he thought it was 3 warriors and a wizard. It might be. I might have completely misread it. I might be talking nonsense. So you know,
Zarch is the wizard in the January Chaos Warband.
Okay, I'm just talking shit then.
She's going to
This is
become
cool.
some sort. That's almost an anagram of Kardashian, isn't it?
It is very, very close. It's an interesting tactic as well. Send your leader in and get them killed early so that you can boost your caster up to level 3.
Yeah.
Is it going to be worth doing? Is it going to be worth it? It'll be interesting to find out. I mean, Magic's always been such a dodgy thing until now. Maybe, yeah.
Unreliable. Second in command. Second in command who when leading becomes the level 3 wizard. I think that's what it is, isn't it? That's what it is. I haven't done the research for tonight, I'm afraid. Are we going to announce the winner of our Direchasm competition, which is Patreon's?
We've got about
necessarily very
about
exciting.
15 minutes left.
But yeah,
anyone
I feel
wants to get into.
Sorry, go on.
Go on.
I was just saying,
No, after you.
I don't feel like we've been on the ball tonight, but I feel like very much stuck in limbo, where Direchasm's nearly out, but not quite out. But also Games Workshop haven't really spoiled anything, so there's very little to talk about. So apologies if it's been a little bit lackluster this evening. But yes, you can join our Patreon and join future competitions. But this week's competition, or this month's competition, I should say, was to change the flavour text on a card to something that Pete and I have said in a video at some point.
Yep. And we got quite a few entries in, and there were quite a few for us to pick from there that we quite enjoyed, and some of them where I remember reading thinking I actually remember when I said that, and there were a few others that were a bit more classic, like Piercing Stare was changed to Hello Eris Ferns, which I quite like that one. That wasn't our winner though, I'm afraid, so apologies for whoever put that up and thinks that they won.
You were good, but not good enough.
Exactly. But the one we decided to go with in the end kind of encapsulated, I think, the competition. It really did pick a card that took what we had said many times when playing this card, and it just became the watchword for that card almost.
It's like a farewell to that card as well, because it is cycling out as well. So no longer will be second.
It became almost as ubiquitous as Ready for Action in some ways.
Yeah.
And that was calculated risk and changing the flavour text to say, with feigned surprise, through a lethal hex.
How strange.
Very weird. Why would you be doing that? Well, it's because I've made a calculated risk. And so that was our winner. And that was done by, and they've changed their name recently, they're now the Grammar Hammer on
yeah,
of course,
if you'd all tried harder, you could have done better.
Yes, so there we go. The Grammar Hammer, you have won, and that is, of course, Jason. We will get in touch, and we will sort out how to get you a copy of Direchasm. So congratulations.
Yeah. Is that your dog?
I'm being dinged up. No, that was my phone. Gotta be quiet and start streaming again. Can people see us again? Hello, anybody? Anybody out there? Can people see us? Hopefully we're back online.
We're back. Hooray! Back.
Hooray.
Well, those Direchasm spoilers we've been sent are amazing, Pete.
I think they're fantastic, and I don't think that GW will be happy that we released so much information there, but we did, so there you go.
Yeah,
we don't care.
I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, everything's just shit tonight. Just all shit. I don't know why that's all going
So
on.
if it is your first time for watching, thanks for joining in.
Yeah,
that's 19 viewers now. This has been a bit of a rubbish live stream, for which we can only apologise. I'm going to put it down to 2020, because let's face it, 2020 has been shit.
It has. This kind of summarises how 2020's gone.
And just before the last slog towards Christmas now. I don't know about you guys, but it started earlier because we've got to send all the presents to everybody. Some of them have been delivered direct, but Christmas has started earlier because we're not visiting anybody at Christmas. It's got to wrap the presents, got to buy the presents, got to open the door 500 million times for the presents to be delivered into the house. And then you've got to open the presents and then wrap the presents and then send the presents. It's all nice to be able to get lots of presents. Don't get me wrong, we're very lucky. But it just Christmas is just.
It seems completely pointless at the minute, especially when you don't see any of these people who you're buying these presents and sending them off for. Like, why are we doing this? This is
in some cases there's a bonus, isn't it? But most of the time,
well, yeah. For a large portion of my side of the family, especially, we've actually turned around and said we're just not going to do Christmas presents.
Yeah, we've done that. Yeah, we've done that too.
Just not worth it.
It's Gavin Scott's fault because it's the first time he's watched it live. I don't mean coronavirus. Just the first time he's watched it live. Sorry, Gavin. Do come back. Do come back next week. There'll be more to talk about next week. Next week, hopefully we'll have feels and Direchasm stuff to talk about. Andrew's off to bed. Yeah. Even Andrew's had enough.
Yeah, even he's like, look, I love you guys, but you're shit. I have to say, I think I really, really, really am at the point now with COVID and everything else that Direchasm's coming out. I'm kind of sort of excited about it, but at the same time, like right now, we're not going to get a chance to even play it till possibly January.
No.
So like, how excited can I get about a game I can't even fucking play?
Yeah.
There's only so much excitement you can get about that.
Yeah, I guess we could do cam games, but I mean, it won't be long before it'll be on TTS. But yeah, it is.
Yeah. Even things like TTS though, it's such a disconnect.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, it's small beans compared with what a lot of people are going through this year. I mean, the retail's collapsing around our ears, and it's uncertain times. And we're incredibly fortunate. My wife's job is safe, and so we're very lucky. But it's just been a slog, hasn't it, everybody? It's very cheerful. It's very thoughtful at the end here.
No, so sorry about that, but such is life. It's shit. It's just the way it is right now. Sorry about that.
Have we spoken about if condensing the Warband releases is a good or bad for the game? We did a little bit, Jeff, at the beginning, and I like the fact that they're monthly. I think that's good. I prefer one monthly than two monthly, if that makes sense. What it means for the seasons, I'm guessing it means they're going to get back to the September season. I think it's a shame it's short, but I think it's the best thing to do. And Lazarus says, "Where have you gone?" We're back.
Yeah. Who? We're here.
We're here.
Hopefully.
Unless you're way behind. If you're like way behind, then we collapsed about 5 minutes ago.
Just give it a while.
Yeah. We'll be back in a minute.
Oddly enough, since that happened and I've reconnected, my OBS connection seems to be much better.
It does.
So
yeah.
I have no idea what the hell was going on with it all. But that just kind of summarises 2020 as well.
Yeah. Don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah, I prefer the idea of having one warband a month. It gives you some time to pay attention to each set of cards that comes out rather than just going, here's 60 universal cards, find the 8 good ones and then bollocks to the rest. Whereas this way you can have here's 30 universal cards, find the 7 or 8 that you're not 100% sure on and play around with those a bit more, and then another set of 60 comes out and there'll be another 8 or so in there, that kind of thing.
That was inadvertently a very damning indictment of collectible card games in general there. We're just going to find the 8 cards that you want and throw the rest away. Kind of how it works, but it's a bit brutal putting it that way.
It is, yeah. That is pretty much collectible card games in a nutshell.
This just in.
Yeah. At least it's not as bad as random drops. That kind of thing would drive me mad. Well, that's why part of the reason why we stopped doing champions. That in the game was a bit shit. But other than that, I mean, it was mostly the
randomised cardage is not good. Is not good. So next week we'll be talking about Direchasm. I know it's not a great time, but if you want to enter our Patreon competition, then do sign up Patreon. You only have to sign up at the £2 level, and you can enter the competitions, and you might win some versatile nameplates next month. And then other things going forward. We have a competition every month. But yeah, otherwise, I guess we'll see everybody next week. So hopefully we'll have so much to talk about. Hopefully. Loads. Hopefully. Then you can all be telling us your favourite Direchasm cards, which we are marvelling at whatever turns out the Warband fighters we haven't seen yet, and just general. But there's bound to be new mechanics. We might find out. Isn't there something like a primacy token mentioned in the box contents? We'll find out what that does. So there's stuff to look forward to, most definitely. It's just getting through now to the end of the year, just to hopefully getting to a vaccinated, brighter future in 2021. No more bat reps until DC releases. Well, we are playing this week, aren't we, Pete? We're playing on Thursday night, aren't we? We're going to play Farewell to Nightvault.
Yeah, so we're going to play a Farewell to Nightvault game.
So we're going to do... we're basically playing Nightvault cards only and a Nightvault Warband each. So...
but that will be TTS, so it won't be.
No,
it won't be.
No, because we can't meet. We're both in tier 2. Yeah, we're lucky to be in tier 2. We're not in tier 3. But we can't meet indoors. And I'm not playing outside.
No.
If it was Australia, maybe. But it's not.
No, there it's like 45 degrees out there.
That's true. Even that might not. That might not be great. You can see the flesh burning off Pete's arms as he tries to move his models.
Yeah, but once we get moved back to a tier 1,
we'll be there.
Whether that's the midst of winter in January or whenever it is, we will be out there getting some games.
I'm actually quite glad we're not playing this week in the garage, because I popped out there today to do something, I can't remember what, and it was bloody freezing.
It's a good thing
that was in the daytime.
It's a good thing we've spent all that time and money doing the floor and stuff to make it that much more habitable.
If you like, Pete, I'll go out there and lie on the floor tomorrow, just to tell you how warm it is. I have actually got to record a video tomorrow for secret purposes, so I will be out in the garage freezing my butt off tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning, in fact. So yeah.
Sounds like you need a studio, mate.
Yeah, I do. It's there. Mrs. Brooks has stopped saying you're not doing that when I suggest it. So
we all know that's the first step in breaking them down.
I've worn her down. We'll see how we go. This is the plan. This is my hope to get an outdoor office with some proper recording space and things. That's not freezing cold.
It's mostly just the not freezing cold.
Champions. Could be Marvel Champions, or it could be Marvel Champions, but it wouldn't be secret then, would it?
So we're going to keep trying to do stuff like we've said. We've mentioned to our patrons that everybody's supporting us. When we get around to the end of December, we won't be charging people for that period of time unless they've specifically said to keep
charging. That's a really good time to enter, because you won't get charged and you can still enter the competition. So we need to think about that. No, that's fine. So if you want to enter for a month and then stay forever, then it's a good time to do it.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Universe Doe says he's going to his local store for a game after the stream. Cool. I'm not sure where you are, Universe Doe. I'm assuming you're in America lands or wherever. Australia
or Canada or somewhere. Well, have fun doing that. Anyway. Have fun doing that. And thanks everybody for listening. Awesome. Australia. We have a vast Australian fan base. We must have a peculiar Australian sense of humour or something.
It's weird. We have a massive.
Yeah, many of our patrons and watchers and listeners are based in Australia, which I don't know.
I want to make that joke. We've got a massive Australian fan base, but I don't know any massive Australians.
And on that note, I think it's probably to have Pete put down.
So. Yeah, I think so. So thank you all for joining us on this, quite frankly, absolutely terrible stream tonight, and I apologise.
Yeah, do join us next week. It can only be better. The timing works out pretty nice for them in Australia. That's why I say I didn't know mine. Cheers everybody,
it's all about being.
We will see you all next week, and bye.
Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.